Welcome back guys, this is tutorial number 9 of Python for Beginners course, and in this tutorial we will be discussing about sets. So before we begin, I would like to announce that I have uploaded all the files till tutorial number 10 on a GitHub repository, and I have shared the link in the description of each and every video, and please go find them, and any type of suggestion would be welcomed. Comments are really important, so please comment if this content is helping you in any way, please comment that out. Right, moving on to the topic of the day, the sets. So for sets, what you should remember is this definition: sets are unordered collection of unique elements. What does this mean? That sets contains only unique elements. It is a collection data type, right? And it is unordered. There is no indexing inside the sets. It is mutable, however, guys. This is very important. So creating an empty set, here is the way you can create an empty set, empty set like this. This is the only way you can create an empty set, because I'll show you, because this is not the way, this is wrong, right? You won't be able to do that. We will see why, right? And first thing is that it is unordered, it is unique, and as you can see, I have declared a fruit bucket here. Let's see what is unique element means. I have declared a fruit bucket and it contains 3 oranges here. 1, 2 and 3, right? So we have 3 oranges in this fruit bucket. What happens is that when it is interpreted by the sets in Python, it does not consider the duplicate elements. Once it has the object as orange, it won't consider it again. So if I try to declare this, it will only take orange once. As you can see, this is only appended or added once, right? You cannot add any duplicate element in set. This can be used to our advantage. We'll see how. Now coming to the part where we can declare using the curly braces. This is a dictionary, guys. This is important because when you try to declare it, it is interpreted as a dictionary in Python. So if you want to convert that as a set, you should do this. This is passing one element inside those curly braces, and it will declare it as a set. However, if you do this is not admissible. It will declare it as a dictionary. Now, as for indexing part, if we try to access any element, it will return it's a key error. No, it's not a key error. I think I have okay. So it is not a key error. Key error are found in dictionaries, guys. This is not in sets. There are no subscription sets. That's what we want. Please give me a yeah. So as you can see, if I do this, I'll remove that, control Z, control C. Excuse me, guys, give me a second. Yeah. So if we declare sets, if we declare a set, there is no indexing, there is no subscript in set. As you can see, this is the error that we were looking for, and there are no subscripts. The key error is a error in dictionary. Please, if you don't know that, don't worry. You try to keep a trace of the errors, because that is essential for debugging, such as these. Now, no mutable object. What does that mean? That there can be no unhashable objects. This will be an unhashable object. For those of you who are new to hashable values, I'll just give you one sentence that hashable values are those values that do not change anywhere. They cannot be changed after being declared. This is the one statement that I want you to remember. Hashable values are those values that do not change for their entire life after being declared, right? So what are those? Those are immutable objects in Python. We have discussed immutable. Immutable objects are somewhat equals to hashable values, but don't confuse them. We will differentiate them in another time. So unhashable objects cannot be added in a set. Now all the hashable objects or immutable objects can be added, such as strings, tuples, and integers and floats, as you can see. One thing about sets that is very important is it is not possible to create a set inside a set or declare a set. As you can see, there is a set inside a set, and this is not admissible. Unhashable type. Why? Because set is a mutable object. Please remember that a set cannot be declared inside a set. Alright, so moving on. Now what we want is that we can convert from those lists into a set, and what will that give us? That will remove all the duplicate objects. As you can see, there are no duplicate objects here, but in genres there are never any duplicate values. Action does not have another action, right? So as you can see, we have all the objects, so it removes all the duplicate values. Let's try that. Is it even working? Right, so we try adding action twice and it is not there. As you can see, only once. So this is very important property of set that we can use, right? We can remove duplicate objects, and we can take tuples as an input and convert those to sets. That's possible, guys, not an issue. And we can use a string. As you can see, I am passing a string, and this is a long sentence, and I want all the characters. However, I don't want any duplicate characters. What does this mean? That this I should not repeat itself. As you can see, there are 4 I's in this sentence. However, we will only get one. As you can see, there is only one. One more thing that you should notice is that we are also getting a space here. This is very essential points, and keep them in mind when you are using sets. As you can see that we are trying to sum A and B. So what I am suggesting here is that sum of A may and may not be equals to sum of B. That is set. Sum of A may not be equal to sum of B. If it is equal, let's say if it's equal, then all the elements inside the A function are unique, right? That's very good way of checking if the elements of all the inside a list is actually identical or unique or not, right? You can check this statement. If it is true, then it contains only unique element. If this is not true, it does not contains unique elements, right? So this is how you can use it. Now A is a set of genres, and we are trying to add. This is add method, guys. We are discussing methods now, and we are actually adding something. This is similar to the append method in list, so you can add. However, in this case, so in this case you can add that. However, if you try to add one element twice, as you can see, social here is already there inside the set A here. If I try to add that again, it won't return me any changes, right? So if I try that with action, adventure, the same, it will be the same, guys. You can try that. And to update or add more than 2 elements inside a set, we use the update method. It will only, you can see, concatenate 2 sets in a language one way. In list, it is possible to add 2 elements like this. However, in sets, I won't suggest that. This is not possible in sets. Unsupported operand, as you can see, we cannot add them like this. right? There is a way we can use update for that, but we cannot use the plus operator, right? Operand, plus operand here. Okay, now as we can see that there is no duplicate elements again, and oh yeah, so what I want to show you is that there are three common function. This is min, max, and sum function that it shares with other data collection types, so they are also applicable in it. You can see that we can return the maximum value, the minimum, and sum of the set. We can remove element as well, as we have added. We can remove them. You have to pass the element itself. One thing about remove is that it will remove only once, and if we try to remove a removed element or an element that is not present, it will give an error. As you can see, if I try this will end up in an error, and this stops execution. If you don't want to stop an execution, you use discard. This will only return the object, and it won't report an error. So discard and remove are similar in function, but in returning they are different. This one returns an error and this one does not, in case of an already absent element. Alright, so seventh point, we can use pop here. This is a shared method by list. I guess you have heard about list and this function in list. So we can pop elements like this. It will pop apple, I guess. Yeah, so apple is popped here, right? You can pop cherry and so on like that, and pop all the elements you want. It removes them and returns them. This is a pop function, if you don't remember that. So clear method, it clears out or empties the set. It will just empty the set. Set 8 will be present there. As you can see, this is an empty set here. We have seen this. So this clears the object inside it. However, in case of delete, the object itself gets deleted. So whole object is deleted. As you can see, there is nothing defined such as set 8. Alright. So this is important. And it was present there, guys. Okay. This is to show that there was something. Print this. After deleting, there is nothing such, anything of such case in that. So we can use sort function. We can print S3. As you can see, there is our sorted one thing. This is not index, right? It's just returning that sorted function. So this is the sorted list. Sorted function returns a list, guys. It does not return a set. And this is just a coincidence that these elements, I am going to show you that this is not actually the case, that print 12 is there. So it's actually sorted previously. It's not after the sorted function. As you can see, before sorting, it's actually already sorted. This is a mere coincidence that this happened. This does not happen a lot. You will find some cases in which this will happen and this may not happen. So we use the sorted function instead that returns a list. So keep that in mind. Okay, sorted function returns a list, not a set. Okay, now moving on, in and not in function, the return is true or false. We have seen those, so I don't think so that needs any discussion at this point. Sets and logical operations. This is the point where you should know some theoretical part about the sets in class 12. I hope you have heard about sets before, and if you have not, so I would suggest that you should read somewhat about them, because it's not going to be possible to discuss all of that right now. Expected set, expected one. Okay, I wanted a list here to convert, right? Alright, so declared here, we have declared here. So what does this ampersand does? Ampersand is a AND in set theory. The AND, it just returns the all those elements that are present in both. Okay, so if 6 is present, 1 is present in both, no it's not. As you can see, 6 is present there, 7 is present there, 8 is present, until 10 it is present. This will be returned if I'm correct, and it is a set, guys. This ampersand returns a set. Please remember that the return is a set. So intersection, this is just a copy of that ampersand in the same functionality, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. And the difference, what is the difference between those two? So all those elements that are present in S, it's kind of like this, set 1 minus set 2. This is the mathematical representation. Okay, so all the elements that are present in set 2 and set 1 will be removed from set 1, and only those elements which are not present in set 2 will be returned. Okay, as you can see, these are all present in set 2, so they got deleted or removed, and these are only that are left. So I hope these are only set theory, and this is the theory that you should know, right? So set difference, it will return all those. This is just the opposite of this. Should have added those before. So this is what it's returning in sets. I hope you remember that. The union, this is very, very important. So it will return all the elements but no repetitions, right? And it is possible to use the union function for more than 2 using this here, this statement. So you can do that to add or unionate more than one set. It is also possible to use a pipe operator here, that to use a union here. All right. So these are just more than one ways of doing the same job, right? And they are returning the same thing. As you can see, there are more than one ways of doing a job, and this is also true for symmetric difference. If you don't know what is symmetric difference, it just removes the duplicate elements and concatenate them. 1 2 5 8, 1 2 5 8. That's all. Okay, so you can do that with using this symbol or the function. This is true and false Boolean type returning functions is a superset. It will tell if S1 is a superset of S2, and this is for subset. You can do that yes, 1 2 3 is a subset of set 1. Yes, it is true, and superset of this is false. That's all for sets, and I have discussed all the methods and functions. Is superset and subset is the last one. Yeah, so we have discussed all the things in this video about set. I hope you liked the video and enjoy the rest of the Python, guys. Go ahead and try that. Whatever the functions that you remember, try to remember all those functions, type something about them, and just experiment with them. This is the only way of learning, guys. So keep safe. Thank you. Tata.